YouTube, I'm Danielle. This is Kitchen Optimist. I'm a novice cook, but expert eater, taking on recipes that scare the salt out of me, 1 teaspoon at a time. Today I'm trying arancini. Have you had those? They're amazing. The stuff deep fried fairy tales are made out of. Risotto, wrapped around mozzarella, then fried and dipped in tomato sauce. What's not to like? These appetizers, or breakfast. Breakfast just means break fast. If you broke your fast with it, it's breakfast, right? White carbs, dairy, and frying. Completely Tim Ferriss unapproved, but well, he's not coming over for dinner anytime soon. So let's do this. I'm using the recipe from Christina'sCucina.com. I've never made any of her recipes before, but it had a few hundred reviews and 4.5 stars. Plus, she claims to have gotten the recipe from her Sicilian aunt, so I'm on board. The recipe calls for tomato sauce, both inside the ball and for dipping, so I figured instead of just opening a jar, I may as well go all out and make my own sauce too. For that, I'm using Marcella Hazan's recipe. I'm using the New York Times version, but it is also on food52.com. It has over 1,000 positive reviews in the New York Times cooking app and only 5 ingredients. It feels like a good compliment to something I'm afraid of trying, the arancini. I don't know why I'm so afraid of making them, probably because of the oil. Not from a health standpoint. I think we've already covered that. Just more the spattering oil skin situation. I love arancini. I'm just not 100% sure that they are worth the possibility of a 3rd-degree burn. We're gonna start with the tomato sauce so it has plenty of time to simmer and then cool because, again, with the burning. And I've never heard of anybody being mad about tomato sauce simmering too long. We just take an onion, peel it and cut it in half, dump in a can of whole peeled tomatoes, add salt and butter, and let it simmer. I can manage that. I couldn't find the genuine article. These are merely San Marzano style whole peeled tomatoes, but it's the best that I can do. The recipe calls for 5 tablespoons of butter, which feels like a lot, but I'm a rule follower. If the recipe says 5 tablespoons, we're doing 5 tablespoons. I've read that one of the reasons we love restaurant food so much is because there's way more butter and salt in it than we would ever use at home. So I'm just gonna say it's gonna give us a restaurant feel and possibly high blood pressure or a heart attack. It calls for salt to taste, which I hate because I don't know what it's gonna taste like when it's done. We're gonna put it on, bring it to a simmer with the top off, and check it after about 45 minutes to see if it is thickened to our liking. Along the way, we're stirring it occasionally and breaking up the bigger pieces of tomato. Seems pretty low pressure. The arancini call for carnaroli or arborio rice. I've never heard of carnaroli rice. I'm sure it's delicious. I'm just not sure that it is available at my Nashville, Tennessee local Kroger's. I've made risotto before, probably a Cheetos risotto, but I've always been happy with it. So I saute the rice with olive oil till it gets translucent to some degree. Then I add wine. I went with 19 Crimes Martha's Chard because, well, why not? Also, I don't drink, so I have no idea if it's good or not. Cook it till the wine evaporates and then start adding chicken broth a little bit at a time, which I have heating on the stove right now because it's supposed to be hot. You cook it with the top off because, well, I don't have a because that's what the directions say. Also, I'm gonna overflow my boiling broth. The lesson here is chicken broth boils really fast. We just start spooning in our broth now. The wine has absorbed. I have such a hard time with things like al dente. There's a little firmness in the center, so I'm gonna stop it now. I have to wait for the rice to cool enough to add the egg. It just says cool. I assume that means to room temperature. I'm gonna use this time to take this furry dictator out for a walk. Well, thanks, buddy. All right, see you soon. Back from our walk. One of us peed, one of us pooped. Well, the same one of us who peed also pooped, and one of us cleaned it up. Rice is a little bit over room temperature, I would say. I'm gonna add the egg, stick it in the fridge. I have a tiniest bit of timing anxiety. I don't really have enough time to wait 2 to 3 hours to make this. And by don't have enough time, I mean don't have the equipment to keep the lighting in here consistent. So, not really sure. I'm gonna give it a little time, maybe like 30-ish minutes. A bit stingy, but it'll do. There's an optional 3 ounces of peas in the recipe. Frozen peas, because I'm not a toddler, I don't have a toddler, and I'm not British, and I don't know anybody else who regularly eats peas. I figured this was the best way for me to buy them and then keep them for the recipes where I need a small amount. But as I said, I hate waste. Highly recommend having a dog running around to pick up your frozen peas. That's 3 ounces. I'm gonna cover them in cold water and stick them in the fridge. They defrost a bit faster. We did what we could. We waited as long as we possibly could. Sometimes that's reality and you gotta do what you gotta do. I need to set up my dipping pre-frying station, my assembly line of 1. I need 2 beaten eggs. Four ounces of mozzarella, cut into 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch cubes. I got the fresh mozzarella because it felt fancy. We are set up for assembly. I'm bracing myself for the mess that is coming. Taking rice, cupping it in my hand, trying to create a little indentation there, putting cheese, peas, and sauce. And then forming it into a ball, ostensibly. Maybe I just put more on top? That did not work. Take 2. Don't make it too thin. Maybe I had too much on one side? I'm not sure. Piece of mozzarella, a couple peas. I think I'm gonna skip the sauce this time and see if I can make this happen without. Maybe that was my downfall. That was not my downfall. I don't want to waste all of this. And it feels clear to me that if I continue right now, that's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna put all of these things away and go hang my head in shame. Or really, I'll put the rice back in the fridge. Maybe it's not settled enough. I'm not really sure. So to be continued, I guess. Okay, time for our rematch. Everything else feels like it is as it should be, she said optimistically. Oh my gosh, it's like raining risotto here. I have peas peeking out at me. I don't know if it's gonna stay, but I'm doing it. Because if it doesn't work this time, it isn't a timing thing. It's just a me sucking at this thing, and I'm gonna suck just as much tomorrow morning, so we're doing it right now. We're gonna put it in flour. Oy. Stick it in egg. Please stay together. And now breadcrumbs. Ooh, this is precarious at best. To make sure I get all of it covered. Maybe that's the thing that stands between me and complete success. A couple peas, a piece of cheese, more rice. Ooh, it's staying together better. Breadcrumb time. Well, definitely could have used a wet hand and a dry hand. I'm losing dexterity. This is sticking to me so much. Well, the issue now is it is sticking to me more than it is sticking to itself. Guess I gotta chuck this one and try again. Back with cleanish hands. So I was really worried just about the frying aspect of this. I did not take into consideration how hard the forming would be. Didn't anticipate failing at this so miserably. Perhaps it is a growing experience. I don't know why this refuses to stick to itself, but is very willing to stick to me. Gross. I think it started at twice the size. It's like half the size of the other ones. It's shedding. Gravity is taking over. Oh my God. It is like oozing. This is the time we are trying sauce. She's bleeding. I don't think it actually makes it harder to make the ball. I think it just becomes more evident how trash I am at it. So there's either enough in there to make 1 to 2 more or fail 1 to 2 more times. I have 5 unequally sized arancini balls ready to fry. I'm gonna quit while I'm not necessarily ahead, but I haven't been lapped like 5 times yet. We have our 5 hopeful arancini. Arancini hopefuls? Either way, I don't know how much oil I'm supposed to use. I also don't know how long until it gets hot enough to do what it's supposed to. Starting to shimmer. I don't know if that's sufficient. The only other thing I know about oil and testing its readiness is that you put a little water in it, and if it sizzles, it's ready. But I don't know if that is a situational thing. Let's do it. They all made it in successfully. I'm supposed to just let them get browned. Oh, it's gonna break. You can see it happening. Maybe I'll use a spoon as an assist. Flip it like a pancake more. Oh. Ooh, that one's crispier. Maybe I just did it too early. Okay. I can still get a B average out of this. What if I just slop it over and we'll see what happens. We're going in for our extraction. One of mine is a bit crab cake shaped. The cheese is definitely gooey. Okay, you're off now, please stop. The moment of truth. They are golden brown, they are warm, they are definitely deep fried. Let's see how they taste. Okay, this looks right. A little oozy in the center. I got one with the peas. Needs more salt. Kind of bland. And I'm not saying that's Christina's cucina's fault. It just goes back to recipes assuming that we all know how to salt to taste. I clearly don't. I'm not sure that that would have saved this situation. It certainly would have helped. The risotto required all the attention that making risotto always needs, but unfortunately for me, I didn't even get the payoff of having a delicious risotto dish. This 100% was not worth it. I love arancini so much, and I'll probably try again, but next time I'm gonna do due diligence and compare different recipes. I don't know if there wasn't enough egg in the rice, if I cooked it too much, if I cooked it too little. She said al dente. I did what I thought was al dente. Maybe that wasn't al dente. Maybe it was too al dente. I don't know. I need to find an idiot's guide to arancini and try this again. Perhaps a win, I will say, was this sauce. This sauce was bomb. So easy, so simple. Now, how simple and how easy it was contributes to how good I think it is. I would totally slap this on some pasta and call it a dinner. Thumbs up. Another win is I didn't start a grease fire, nor did I maim myself with splattering grease. I didn't even come close, which was awesome. I didn't try to make them for guests for the first time, thank God. Although I guess if you don't want people coming over, that would work. I am 100% willing to eat calorie bombs. I just really want it to be worth it. These are not worth it. It also feels so wasteful to me. Christina got 12 to 16 arancini out of this recipe. I got 4 and a mutant. The math applied there is that I wasted more than half of the risotto trying to create what ended up being underwhelming. They are an insult to Italian people everywhere. I apologize to all Italians and those of Italian descent. Arancini need to cost more, clearly. They're hard. I had no idea. I just really thought I was gonna horribly disfigure myself. I didn't realize I would fail far before that, which I 100% did. Yes, I got some arancini out of it, but not any of that anybody would wanna eat. These don't even qualify as arancini. These are spheres of disappointment. Anyway, you win some, you lose some. This isn't about doing it perfectly, it's about trying things that scare me. And I came out unscathed, and you will too. Try cooking that thing that scares you, but maybe do it when only you're gonna be there to eat it. I'm Danielle, this is Kitchen Optimist. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, stay salty.